Gather, veterans. It's time to join the fight. The long war begins.
This is The Long War. I'm Rob Bear, and joining me once again are my partners in crime, Kenny Boucher and Wyatt Turk. What's up, guys?
Yo, dog, good to be here.
Yo, what's up?
You guys are talking really loud. I like it.
I
like the intensity.
Excited to be back.
Yes. And it's great to be here. Nah, it is.
2024, dog.
Yep. Best year ever.
Mm-hmm.
Same as 2023.
Instantly amazing.
No, I think so. There's a lot of excitement over the holiday. Some previews and
I saw those Dark Angel previews. I forgot about those.
Yeah.
I was just like chilling in my hotel room in Miami, like for Christmas, seeing my brother, and it just popped up on my feed, and I was like, I fucking want these, man. Like, it's been a long time since just some random ass Space Marine was like, paint me, dog. Like, I want those.
Well, plus you just did that old Dark Vengeance box.
Mm-hmm. My old thrift store rescue from the legendary Dentine Ice Simple Green Bath.
Oh my god, dude, I forget there was like the gum container.
That doubles as the stripping.
There was like a
container.
Little League medal in there.
Yeah, I didn't realize like you can find miniature lots up on the Goodwill's website from all the different Goodwills across
It's awesome.
Across the country. I was like, oh shit, look at this.
You really can. And the interesting thing about that is that there was a Little League trophy in there. So, and then it turns out there is someone in the major leagues who did go to Crystal River High. So headcanon is it's that guy's fucking Dark Vengeance box.
Oh, tight.
I guess the timing would kind of match up. Maybe. Dark Vengeance was what, 2013?
This is a fact. Like this is canon.
Oh,
I like
okay.
the story.
It's canon. All right, my bad. Sorry.
But the box set that I got has the Exalted Champion in it. So that's the
early one.
The second one. Remember, like they re-released they released the box twice.
Yeah, they did it the first time, and then they did it the second time, and then they reprinted it in 2013.
Is that what are the dates? What's the date on the second because it was 7th edition when they canceled.
Yeah, they did. So 2013 was they did the two versions. They did the one with the chaplain with the smoke, and then they did the regular one, and that was 6th edition. And then a year later, in summer, I'm trying to think here. So that was fall. So maybe it was a year and a half later. I think it might have been 2014. Yeah, that lines up. I think it was 2014 when they came out with the second one that had the Aspiring Champion. It's a single Aspiring Champion sprue in it. That goes for a lot.
He's like $90 on eBay, dude.
Yeah, he's no joke. They never made him again.
I thought it was just like a regular
guy with the two horns that go straight up. That guy.
He's got like kind of like a bone collar and an axe and a knife. It was when we got the Exalted Champion. Bro, I just was painting this hobo up. Like, yo, look at this hobo. And then I'm like, what is this guy? What the fuck? This is that guy? I pulled him out of the Dentine Ice fucking stripper, dude. This guy's ready to go, man. We're painting him Sons of Horrors right now on Twitch.
Nice. Yeah, sell him.
Yeah. I will. I mean, I'm not going to sell them. Like, I don't sell physical goods. See, no. I sell the service of painting tutorials. And now if you want to buy a tutorial from me and, I might send you that model as like an example, but you'll have to give it back to me at some point, like within 90 years. Still on there.
It's fair.
How does one become an internet scientist? I want to know.
You'll have to ask Rob Bear. He's the only one I know.
So does that mean that like the models I have that you painted are increased in value because I actually own those?
Ooh.
I sold those to you when I was in California, and I was exempt from sales tax as a small business in California. So I don't know.
Huh.
Here, I am not. It is annoying. But yeah, it's been fun. When I painted that Dark Angels guy, I was like, damn, Dark Angels are fun as shit to paint, dude.
Yep.
Like,
They are.
They're fucking just like the hobby safe place for me, dude. You know what I mean? Like I could just crack out on those motherfuckers.
I like I like Templars too. I think they're very similar. I mean, obviously black's kind of boring, but you could spice it up. But the fact that they'll have like the tabards and stuff that are similar to Dark Angels, I did enjoy that too.
So we're back. It's 2024.
Yeah.
We did a bunch of stuff over the holidays, which I'm sure we'll get into. But we left you for a long time, but we shouldn't have left you without a dope beat to step to. Coming back into the new year with a renowned podcaster, Wyatt Turk, in his Cave of Wonders. Touch nothing but the lamp.
Yeah. Would you rather only ever to be able to eat cold food or take cold showers?
Cold food or cold showers? Didn't we do this one?
Nope.
I mean, this seems kind of weak. Oh my God, Duff and chat was just instantly showers, right? And I was like, damn, for me, it was the other way around. So I guess it's not as, all right.
Oh yeah, dude. Like I could subsist off of
PB&J's all
fried
day, every day.
chicken, cold pizza, deli foods.
Morning food.
Cold showers is like
No, that's a no-go for me, bro. Like
Yeah.
I cannot do cold showers. Get the fuck out of here.
I mean, cold showers are okay in summer, maybe.
On the other hand, some people are like, I gotta have a hot meal after a long day's work, dude. I think it's divisive. I think it's a thinker.
I can definitely respect that too.
I will 100% eat PB&J's, Monster Energies, Cuban sandwiches until the day I die, as long as I have warm showers. Sushi is cold? Hell yeah.
Sushi is cold. I feel like, man, all right. So is it just any food? Like, obviously cold food is going to be cold still, but like,
if I cook a steak and then I pull it off the grill and it's suddenly cold now?
Yes,
or
instantly cold.
Yeah, so like whatever I eat, no matter what effort I put into it.
Yeah, cold doesn't mean raw. It just means that like if you were to go to Olive Garden and order spaghetti, you would get cold spaghetti.
But would it still be like not, you know how like when pasta gets cold, it's like stiff? Like, would it still be the consistency of like it was warm?
Is the magic tempering it so when I can never have the sensation of warmth? Or does it magically make it like it's been in the refrigerator overnight?
Well, that is a good question. I would say it's as if the cooked food cooled down into a cold state. Not like refrigerated though.
Like it cooled off on the counter.
Yeah, but it will be like, it won't be room temperature. It'll be like cool.
So pasta is kind of effed.
No, man, like dude, to me, it's just like, not, dude, there's no fucking way I'm doing a cold shower, dude.
Yeah. Also, like, Rob, you got the glutens. What pasta are you eating, dude?
Gluten-free pasta.
Gross. Don't eat that.
I mean,
well, that thing is, that shit is inedible cold, though.
Yeah, it kind of is.
That's like the aspartame of pasta, dude. Don't eat that shit.
Hey, man, like it is what it is. I wish I didn't have to.
Just don't eat pasta.
But I like pasta.
Or import your grain from Italy, where people don't have the glutens.
No, they have it in Italy. You actually get money in Italy if you have the glutens.
Wait, they subsidize you if you have glutens in Italy? That makes sense because they're like, we're sorry, you live in Italy, you're fucked.
Yeah, but like their grain isn't like the US grown grain.
They have less people getting that shit per capita.
Yeah. I mean, generally you can like
from what I have been told is like people with the glutens, they can eat pasta made from imported grain and it doesn't upset them.
Yeah, I mean, yes, you are correct. And there's even like there's some French croissants you can buy that are imported that are very good. You just have to, you just got to be careful with all this stuff. But
Yeah. I mean, my mom is constantly hitting me up anyway, like, have you eaten today? I was like, Mom, I ate like 4 PB&Js. I'm fine. She's like, that doesn't count. That's not a hot meal. Like, people already have to stop me from eating cold food and make me eat warm food. Like, this is fine.
Oh, no, Duff. See, you're trying to game it. That's how you get butthole spiders. No.
yeah, nobody wants beehole
You could
spiders.
be in the Sahara Desert and turn on the tap water to take a shower. It would be cold as fuck.
Can't game it.
No, it's like
Genie knows.
it will always be a cold shower no matter where the fuck you are.
Yeah.
Kind of cold. It like hurts. You're just like, oh, God.
The genie knows.
Yeah, like cold as fuck. It's uncomfortable as shit, dude.
No.
Yeah. Fuck that. Well, we're back. So we were gone for a little while, holiday break. We posted on the Instagrams and posted reels and shit. So I feel like we all stay connected throughout the holidays, which is what's awesome about social media. Earlier in the after hours, I did show off my new machete. So you need to go to our paywall if you want to see some hot machete content from Florida.
Yeah, dude. I can't wait till you start hunting some swamp puppies with that thing.
I'm going to do some things with it, yeah. Definitely going to try really hard not to hurt myself.
You're going to make like a reel in your backyard where you're like samurai cutting water bottles with it.
100%. Like super fucking...
Yes.
Do you do it like Napoleon style where he's like learning trying to learn the bow staff and shit?
Yeah, like cringy as hell, dude.
Oh, yeah, dude, you got to.
I don't know how to fucking swing a sword, dude. Just look hilarious.
It's going to be great.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be great.
So we're back. We got a lot of content, a lot of things that happened over the holidays. So we're going to have a big news section. Rob's going to lead us on, kind of get caught up because things happen, dude. And like really cool models dropped and
lots of things.
Yeah, fuck. So let's turn it over to our first ever, the inaugural, what do I used to say? The Memorial News Desk.
The Rob Bear Memorial News Desk.
Yeah, dude.
When my eyes were committing seppuku and trying to bucket water out of the basement. I don't even know what I was doing back then.
It was brutal.
She gets wild around here. She gets wild. Constantly trying to keep out the rain. Anyways, yes, so we're back. Lizard News is back at it again. Lots of fun and exciting things from over the holiday. I don't know what everybody else's favorite reveals were from all the stuff, Christmas previews and things. We even got some new exclusives for the store anniversaries. That Tau guy, and I think he is pretty fresh looking. The new ethereal that I don't even think they've done a second plastic ethereal. So this was probably going to be the second one, which is looking really good. We still haven't seen the event exclusives yet, stuff that it might be part of an Adepticon reveal, because usually that's the first one of the year. But I think this year they're at LVO. So maybe we'll see that sooner than later. And that'll be your first chance to pick up some of the event exclusives of the year is probably at LVO. And speaking of LVO, I guess we'll jump right into it. So Frontline Gaming is doing a Kickstarter. It will actually start the same day as LVO. It's called Blood Throne. It is, or as Reese described it to me, basically D&D meets XCOM, which sounds pretty exciting. I figured a lot of people would be really into that. A lot of the I think all the sculpts were designed by Creature Caster. So that's kind of cool to see, so there's going to be a little bit of crossover, some familiar kind of design elements to things we've seen before. And that will go live on Kickstarter on the 18th. And of course, you can sign up for the mailing list so you're, first to know when it drops at LVO if you're not going. We will have a coverage team there that will be taking pictures of all the vendor booths and the events and the dope armies and things like that. So definitely look for a lot of coverage of the event itself and our favorites and what it's like to be there that weekend. Starting on the 18th, we'll be putting out some content of it on through the weekend, and then of course all the armies on parade and things will come out. We'll actually probably save those and put them out towards the end of the year to kind of ramp up for 2025 LBO, kind of like we're doing right now with the last year's stuff. So that's really cool to see. Also coming to Kickstarter, Snot Goblin Games. You've probably seen the ads and such, and we've done some coverage of it already. Is coming out with a future-proof set of terrain that is going to be injection molded. It is going to be plastic. It's basically like Lego building blocks, and you can put it together and make any style of building you want, which I think is, obviously future-proofing your terrain is good out there, because you're spending the kind of money on just one or two buildings, and then you don't know what the next balanced data sheet or whatever's going to bring, or the next, US Open series. I think it's very good to be able to kind of reconfigure everything that you have and kind of match all the terrain setups and things out there. So we've covered that. You can definitely check it out. They have a sign up sheet, so you can get on there and get the emails when it goes live. I think it will be in February. The go live date, I believe. But look for that soon. Also, some event dates to be aware of. Adepticon tickets for all the events are going on sale the 7th, which is a Sunday. I thought it was Tuesday. It's not Tuesday. Normally it's on a Tuesday. This time it's on Sunday. Maybe it isn't on a Tuesday. I can't necessarily back that up. But either way, this Sunday, the 7th at 12 Central Time, this will be happening. So it's an hour after the normal GW teaser of the week for whatever's, coming out in 2 weeks later. So keep that in mind. As soon as you see the GW teaser, get ready, go get your Adepticon tickets. And obviously you're going to buy Long War Doubles tickets, because this year you get some super sweet sets of dice from Baron of Dice. And those things are looking fresh. And we haven't done dice in a while. I don't know whose fault that is. Probably my fault. I'll take responsibility for it. But they're coming out there. You'll get one for each team member. They're going to be in some really sweet looking tins with some hazard striping on it and things. And we'll have some extras for sale at the event. So if you're not playing in a Long War Doubles, we won't hold it against you. Come by on that Thursday. Wait, is it Thursday? Nope, it's Friday. Come by that Friday, by the booth, and pick you up a set. So look for that on Sunday. Get your tickets for whatever you want to go to at Adepticon. Wyatt, are you getting the new Demon Dread Knight from Joy Toy?
No.
The toy?
No, I ordered the Sentinel.
Oh, yeah. How tall is that? Do you remember? I kind of forgot.
No idea. I didn't even look. I just saw it and I immediately bought it.
You're like, I don't even know. But I want it.
Dude, like I saw red. My lizard brain said must buy.
Must have. It looks like a ATST. Got to get it. So I've got one of them coming. It is 16.5 inches, which if you're looking over my shoulder and watching live, it's bigger than the Reaver Titan, which is the one I'm pointing to right there. You can kind of see it from the side view. It's kind of a chunk. And I'm very excited to get that, but probably not. I'm probably more excited to see how much the Imperial Knight's going to cost, because that Knight Paladin is looking pretty fresh that they previewed over the holiday too. Supposedly it is, I believe, 22 inches tall, which puts it about the same height as the Warlord Titan, which is on the bottom shelf behind me. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to use it as a Warlord Titan proxy, perhaps, which is, I would assume is mostly appropriate.
Yeah. I'm all in on that. Talking to your cat.
She is losing her shit.
I've posted a lot of cat reels lately.
Oh yeah. I've been seeing them.
I figured.
You apparently were missed while you were gone by one of them.
Yeah. These cats are silly.
Nah, they're the best, man. Speaking of dope ass upcoming things, and also action figures. McFarlane Figures has 6 new action figures coming out on the 10th is when they will release. There's a Terminator artist proof, pretty cool looking Berserker. The artist proof isn't as dope looking as the painted version. I think it's Space Wolf and some other stuff that I forgot about, so it can't be important because I never forget anything important ever. So look for those to come out. You can pre-order them right now, of course. McFarlane Toys, Amazon, all sorts of different places out there. Big Bad Toy Store. Drawing a blank on the rest, but Entertainment Earth as well. I pre-ordered the Terminator. It's a mega fig. It's 7 inches tall. So actually, no, it's 8. Those are 8 inches tall. So it's representative of, if you remember the old Assault Intercessor that they put out 4 years ago. It's gonna be about an inch taller than that guy, which is probably makes sense as far as real actual action figures. I have some right here actually. So let's find out. So here's the new Terminator. Yeah, that checks out. The new Terminator stands slightly taller than this Primaris company champion from the that new squad box. So that definitely works. So we'll go with that. Yep. Scales up. We don't have to do any crazy math like we did trying to figure out how much how big a Joy Toy Thunderhawk would actually be. I think, what did we come up with? Why? About 5 feet tall?
5 feet.
5 feet long?
Yeah, thereabouts.
It's so ridiculous. I want one. It's so ridiculous. I don't know how any of that is even feasibly possible, but hey, if anybody's going to do it, it would be them. What else we got? Gosh, I don't even know where to start. So we know that in March, also when Adepticon is, but early March, the new X-Men expansions for Marvel Crisis Protocol will be coming out. They just put those on pre-order this week. So they got 3 new expansion packs that are looking pretty fresh. Don't know a whole lot of the rules quite yet, unfortunately, but I'm sure we'll be getting some previews from Atomic Mass Games here very soon. X-Men real strong either way in MCP, so I'm looking forward to that. They also have, I noticed on Amazon, they have the MCP starters for, I think, 10% off currently, the new Earth's Mightiest Heroes. So if you didn't pick that up yet, now might be a good time to snag one from Amazon, or most stores are already selling them at a slight discount. So might as well just pick it up local, so you don't have to do any shipping shenanigans out there. And I think, let's run down this news here before we talk about the GW previews. I think we might have forgotten to talk about in the pregame the most important thing that was announced by Games Workshop in recent memory. Groundbreaking news today. Adeptus Titanicus is back. It's amazing.
When you say back, what do you mean?
So, Games Workshop today announced their first campaign book for Legion Imperialis. And there's a game mode in the campaign book that says that anything smaller than an armiger, it's 6,000 points. So basically anything smaller than an armiger has no place in a Titan death battle. So it's basically Titanicus. And I gotta give it to GW. I gotta give it to GW, right? They kill off a game, replace it with a new game that has tanks and infantry in it. And then for the very first expansion, one of the sections of the book takes out the tanks and infantry.
It just leaves the Titans.
It just leaves the Titans, but you got to buy the book. Still got to buy the book.
Genius.
Well played, GW.
Genius.
Well played.
Masterminds.
I don't know where they get these ideas from. There's also some other stuff in there too as well. Scenarios for well, there's more mission scenarios in there and also detachments and stuff.
So this new shit, you can play all your Titans in it still?
Yeah, it's specifically to be played just with Titans.
But like, do they thread through the game normally?
Well, the game is just basically it's a smaller version. Like you're playing. Imagine.
I'm saying is like the normal game mode.
Yes.
Can you play your Titanicus bullshit threaded into your army?
Yeah, you can put Titans into.
So your models still have a home, regardless.
But not on the same scale. Like you can't, because the problem is there's too many points. Like so, a game you would run out of points really fast.
No, I mean I'm saying like you can take some of the new models and something from your Titanicus collection and put together a playable army.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So your models do have life in this new game system, regardless.
Oh yeah, for sure. They said that they were very upfront with that, and they even put out new bases because they'll look a little weird if they're on the lipped base next to all these dudes that are on little flat bases.
That's pretty cool. No matter how you slice it, like, hey, that game sucked dick. Sorry, here's a new game, but those models are still playable, and here's your bases. Let's hope this game doesn't suck dick too.
Except for all the shit sold out, including the bases. So,
shit, it sucks dick again. Sorry.
Good luck. Yeah, GW has a knack of not, and they said it. Their CEO said it in the last financial report. He's like, "Hey, we don't make that much of this new release stuff. We literally plan on selling out every time."
Yeah, because dumpster wars. Otherwise.
Yeah, because dumpster wars. Otherwise. Yep, 100%. So. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird place to be because you basically and I guess we can kind of transition into talking about Old World here, but when you don't have all the information at hand to figure out what you need, like with the Old World stuff coming up, like you don't know perhaps how many dudes you're going to need for squads and stuff. Like the best example I can give you is the army boxes come with squads that may or may not be the full size, but we don't know if you need to buy more models to add, like, how do the points work? You know what I'm saying?
Are you
like,
trying to,
bonuses.
segue into our conversation about base fillers?
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to state my point.
I got to do commercials and shit before we.
Yeah, no, that's why I was just going to kind of like.
But did you talk about the Dark Angel models? Was I not paying attention?
I did not. So what was y'all's like favorite previews of the weekend from all the stuff that was shown?
The Dark Angel models.
That's it.
I only remember the Dark Angel models, so probably them. I don't remember anything else.
They were so top tier.
I mean, you could tell me anything. I probably believe you because I only remember the Dark Angels.
They were. I mean, it's like literally I'm like Dark Angel blind when I saw those. Like it was like
everything else was forgettable.
Yeah, like fuck.
Well, they showed. I mean, a lot of the stuff was silhouettes. So the new.
Oh yeah. So of course I immediately did not give a fuck because it's just like this is a nothing post.
Is it just me or are those models sick though? Like
the new
Dark Angels models are ridiculous.
The Dark Angels are fucking amazing.
Ridiculous, right? Like, because I don't usually give a fuck about some Space Marines. You know what I'm saying? Like when they're like, look at these new Space Marines, like tight. I'm never feeling the impulse, right? How long have we done this podcast? I don't give a shit. I don't buy some shit that's not in my collection to go paint.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm looking at these Dark Angels like, man, I can paint those guys. Like,
and I think it's really cool how they're doing the upgrade spruce, so you can take the base Terminator squads and port them over to be Dark Angels with the plasma cannon and the sergeant chest, the shoulder pads. So that's probably going to be the precedent for Blood Angel stuff too. Is they'll come out with these little upgrade
giving
boxes.
us an excuse to do green Dark Angels though. That's like the thing I'm always like looking for. Like I don't care about the Deathwing. I don't care about Ravenwing. Like I want like the regalia of a fucking green robed baller ass fucking Dark Angel. That's my hobby safe place.
So you like the guys that aren't coming in that starter box or the army box.
Exactly. Like that shit is like I can paint those guys all day. Like every little stupid feather, all the dumb little beads and rosaries and shit, dude. I'm just like, I'll paint all these dumb beads. You know what I mean? Where normally I'm like, fuck these beads, you know? Like
you're like, let me cut off these wolf tail towels.
Yeah, float these, clip. like, dude, I don't know what it is, man. Like, and they have magic ropes. The ropes don't make sense.
What do you mean?
Like they flow into armor in some places and out of armor in other places, and they're not the same places. It's like, is this like a pure decorative fake front robe? Because there's no way it goes under your breastplate and back out the way you're indicating to me. Some artificer snapped that shit on. It's totally fake. Just for aesthetics. Like you did it to look baller. You know what I mean? Like, how's the hood coming out of your armor here, but then it's over your chest here?
And they got those big old WWE championship belts with like big old buckles.
Hell yeah, they do. Fucking, I don't know what it is. I love them bitches. Like, I want to paint them. I never care about that kind of shit. But I want
What
them.
about Asmodai or Belial?
I like all their names and stuff, but like they're sick. Look, it's sick, but it's like.
So my cat is literally sniffing the Thunderhawk. She's like, "Hey, what's this? Doesn't smell like me." I think she may attack it.
Yeah, she got the pee on it.
No, that's not happening. Hey, get over here.
So anyway, all that to say, that was my favorite shit. Sorry.
Yeah, I think Dark Angels are going to be a hit. Really interested to see what that Custody guy is. I mean, no clue what that's all about. It looks like an orc.
I want to call this out of chat. We normally don't interact with chat because this is so good. Orc Meat says, "It's just me. Does Rob look like Tintin with lipstick?" That has been said before. Yes.
Yeah, you didn't know the secret origin of Tintin. So it's based on Rob's life. Mm-hmm. Rob was back. He's back there.
Yeah, but he's
infinite. He's always been. He always will be. He just happened to run into the creator of Tintin like back in the 1910s, and
he's like, "Dude, you're crazy. I want to hear about your life." Yeah, but Orc Meat does follow up by saying, "In a good way." Oh yeah.
Like in a good way. Yeah. Unfortunately, lighting doesn't really work well for me because I'm translucent.
So. Rob always looks like he has Kool-Aid lips and his skin is invisible.
Yep, that's true. It's just the way it is, y'all. Gotta embrace it.
It just cracked me up because, like, yeah, that is a known thing. I think for a while, Rob even had like an avatar picture of himself, like an Xbox 360 avatar. It's literally tinted. Like, it's like, like fucking, what the hell? What was your favorite thing from that preview, Rob?
Probably the Custody that's coming out. He looks cool. It's got some sort of crazy shield, spear and shield.
He did look good. Yep.
Sparta. I
do recall that.
Pretty excited to see what that's going to shake out to be.
I'm a big fan. So, do you want to do commercial break and then launch into our? Okay, so look, guys, we're back. It's 2024. Let's hear from some of our sponsors, and then let's launch into a discussion of Old World hype. BaronofDice.com, the official dice sponsor of the Long War podcast. Use promo code LONGWAR5 for 5% off. If you're looking for a superior dice manufacturer, then look no further than Baron of Dice. Custom artwork, faction representation, and crisp razor edge square dice. Remember to use promo code LONGWAR5. Again, that's BaronofDice.com, the official dice sponsor of this podcast.
For the best game aids and peripheral tools for wargaming, check out our friend J15Games.com. From wound counters and dials to faction rule trackers, these are the coolest tools out there, designed to be functional and intuitive These tools help you stay organized and speed up your game. Their flagship product, the Nesting, Movement, and Combat tool, is absolutely amazing. A magnetized measuring widget that splits into 3 different size tools for every situation. And you can get it in 8 different colors. J15 also offers custom ordered dice trays made from hardwood and leather. Check them out at j15games.com. That's j15games.com.
And we're back. Rob, I was just talking to Arthur today. I was doing a tax meeting. And he was just going on and on and on about Old World hype. And he was complimenting us on our coverage of Old World so far in the podcast.
Oh. Well, that's good. Appreciate it. So I think one of the things that I went back through and I was pouring through GW's the kind of posts and stuff because I was like, I was trying to figure out the squad sizes and such. And one of the things that kind of bugs me personally, and I don't know if it matters to you guys, because I think at the point where you're like, you want to play this game and you want to be all in, like if little tiny tanks and shit is your thing, then you're like, I'm all in on Legion Imperialis. I don't care. I'm going to buy it. But one of the things that I think is creates a little bit of buyer's remorse or feel badsies, right? For folks. And then you get that thing where then you feel like, oh shit, I didn't buy what I needed. And now everything's out of stock. And now it's going to cost me even more on the secondary market to get it. And then you start to lose hobby motivation. And if you're not part of a group or like a game store, or, like a Discord, like Wyatt is, that's really motivated and into it, then I think you kind of start seeing these things that happen, like where everybody was really hype on Horus Heresy, and then everything went out of stock, and you don't really see anybody playing it at the game store level as much. I mean, yeah, there's pockets here and there, but by far, no. The same thing happened with Titanicus, and the same thing seems to be happening right now with Legion Imperialis, and it'd be really a shame if it happened with Old World. And but everybody does have their old miniatures in a lot of cases. They just might have to rebase things. But I was pouring through the information, trying to find out, hey, what there's obviously rank bonuses. They said there would be rank bonuses. And they also said they showed the men at arms and they said that a squad is 10 plus. But what does that mean? They also said that bowmen would be squads of 32, but there's only 24 in the box. So I'm like, okay, so it seems like in the box, you're not getting full squads, but it seems like based on the rules they have previewed, you're still going to get the bonuses for things. Bowman, you don't really care about rank bonuses. If you're caring about a rank bonus with Bowman, you're already in trouble. But with things like Men at Arms, yeah, that could definitely be a thing. So I'm a little on the fence, and I was trying to dig in and be able to give as much information as possible to people, because all of this is going to go up for pre-order on Saturday. And in a lot of cases, when you got nearly more, I'm looking at my sheet here on the camera, and literally more is direct order from GW than is going to be available at game stores. You got to get this stuff fast, because as GW has said, and we talked about it earlier, they literally plan to sell out. So it's kind of like this weird situation where you don't exactly know what you might need. We know enough to be dangerous. We're not going to have the information when it's time to step up and buy and make a purchase decision. And then poop goes plop. And I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's right. And I would like to see better from Games Workshop personally. But if you guys have better information for me, I would love to hear it.
Well, do you think so? Like you said, the Bowman, how many come in a box?
So GW said that all of the regiments would come with their full. I will get the exact quote for you, but it would basically come with their max size. I think was what basically they were saying, but let me go look for it.
I feel like that might have been some telephone between like the people actually running shit and the people they have writing for the website. That's happened before.
So what's the actual question? Is like how many guys are allowed to be in a squad, or what equals a rank?
So we do know what a rank is. And
What is a rank?
That's a rank is, I believe, 5Y, but I'll double check that for you as well.
You can have more than 5 in a rank.
Yeah, I think it's a more than a number.
I also saw that like one of the things that they're altering for this iteration of the rules is that everybody in a rank can fight, even if they're not in base to base with your target. Because the problem back in old fantasy was you could have things like units that were like 2 wide but 10 deep, just like tar pitting like huge things. Because like only 2 of your guys from your massive bus of dudes can fight me because I'm only too wide. So now they're like thematically, or like the abstract is that they're kind of wrapping a unit if it's wider than.
So what Games Workshop said was these regiments and other future regiments are returning in boxes that contain enough plastic miniatures to make a full regiment, not just a rank or two. With the Peasant Bowman box, you'll be able to build a unit of 32 archers, complete with command and defensive stakes.
So that leads you to believe that 32 is a max.
Well, is that
for
like
them.
The regiment box?
Right. That's going to be their separate release box, which most likely will be close to a price point similar to Horus Heresy, because they even, said this is basically the Sigmar version of Horus Heresy, or the fantasy equivalent of Horus Heresy. So if that's the case, then you get 24 in a box. So, but we don't know further information about the Bowman as of right now.
So
we know men at arms though.
So isn't the solution unit fillers?
I would say, yeah, in a lot of cases. So to define unit filler, because I know there's a lot of people who may have only ever played 40K and never played fantasy, or like they've only ever played Age of Sigmar, right? Because fantasy died a long time ago. So back in the day, unit filler was a way to take up spaces in your movement tray. So just like picture in your heads, you've got a unit of orc boys and they're 10 across and 4 deep. So 40 dudes in a formation. And so a unit filler would be some item or base filler or diorama piece, something like that would take up multiple base spaces within that movement tray, so that you're not using 40 orc boys to fill up that unit, right? And this came about just as a way to save time, as a way to save money, because back when fantasy was in full swing, there were some factions that were so prohibitively expensive to field that like you either had to have like a ton of money to devote to this faction, or you had to do something else like unit filler. So like Skaven was kind of like that. There was a couple of other ones, but it's just be like you would need over 100 Skaven models to run like a full size game. And the way that GW priced their stuff was like crazy for playing Skaven. Like it was insane. So for people watching live, I sent a picture over to Kenny to show what unit filler is, but like it's, so for example, it's like for dwarves, like if you want to play your dwarf guys, you would build a like dwarven forge or like a big carved totem rock out of foam, and it would take up like 4 base squares, and you would put that like in the middle of your unit. Or in some cases, people would put stuff on the back row where you could pull, it would be like terrain spread over the bases where you could pull one at a time, because in fantasy, when you pull casualties out of a unit, it's the back row first, right? Which is why you always see like your important dudes in the front rank instead of like a sergeant in the back of a squad in 40K, right? Like, and that was just a way for, it's like, if I need like 80 orcs, right? I can buy 40 orcs and then have a couple of unit filler rows to like expand those units out, right? And so for these units where it's like a full size is X, but you can only buy a box of Y, and you would need to buy 2 boxes with like a pittance left over from the second box, like not enough to field a second unit. So then you're like, well, to field 2 units, I need 3 boxes. And to field 4 units, I need 5 boxes. And like this kind of, it just goes on and on and on, right? Whereas like you can buy 1 box and then create unit filler. So you don't have to have that like leftover kind of infinite chain of buying boxes for stuff. And also it makes your trays, like your little like units running around the board, it gives them more flavor, makes them look cooler.
Yeah. And I played a lot of fantasy back in the day, and a lot of times like you could just put casualties back there. Or if you were playing, like I was playing undead at the time, or I guess it was vampire counts eventually. I would just put like, you know, zombies coming up out of the ground and stuff. You know, it was dope. It just totally worked. But
tombstones and shit.
Yeah, it was a really smart idea that was also a little thematic, because to be honest with you, you don't see those dudes in the back.
No, man, they're like useless. That's what pisses me off about the rank and file is like, why paint 20 dudes in a block? You can only see, you only really clearly see 10.
Yeah.
Because the way they used to make them like that. Remember, like these guys go here, these guys go here, these guys go here.
They all ranked up.
But then after that, it's like they all block each other.
Yeah.
So I love it when you treat it like a little diorama and you put little, I like the center monolith, like Wyatt mentioned. I think that's cool for certain things, you know, like threading in a graveyard into your fucking undead is sick as shit. So it was a way to hobby out in a fun way, make your units go further and not break your fucking bank or your back painting the same goddamn 2 sculpts over and over and over and over again for a ridiculous amount of money because they were inefficiently sold. And with the way scarcity has been with GW right now, guaranteed you're not going to get as many as you want, period.
Yeah.
Facts.
Now,
especially if you want to get into the new stuff, because like everybody wants Bretonians and like everybody wants Tomb Kings. So it's going to be a free for all.
Yeah. And I think, you know, going back to, well, hey, how do you fill out those ranks? Like we've seen the Men at Arms rules. They did preview those, and they do say, hey, it's 10 plus. A unit size is 10 plus. So you get your 2 ranks. So you need at least 2 ranks. And of course you always, the things that are listed as points are your extra stuff, like your champion, your standard bearer, your musician, like normal. You can have Grail Monk stuff in there, or a Grail Monk with a relic, which you have to get from MTO, or excuse me, they're not MTO, they are pewter. And I think the Grail stuff is quite expensive. It's $65 for those dudes, or if you want the block of battle pilgrims, it's $80. Now so we don't quite know yet. It says, you know, for this, hey, it's 10 plus, and the only thing you're paying extra points for are these upgrades to the squad. So there's clearly a points cost for this block. Now, is it going to be like Sigmar, where it's, hey, a block of dudes is this much, right? And then
it's probably going to be like the old style, because this is the crunchier rule set. So it's going to be like plus 10, plus 5, plus whatever. And you can nickel and dime it to really do whatever you want.
Then if that's the case, then that's part of my kind of what I was saying about not having all the information to make an informed buying decision, which I detest. And I think everybody should be able to make a good informed buying decision. This
is a weird thing, right? Because like part of this is we're giving you new stuff, right? Like whole new line of Bretonians, or mostly. Cool. Like Tomb Kings are back. You got some cool new hotness. We're bringing back the old stuff.
Yep.
And we're giving everybody rules from the get-go. We're revitalizing this game. But there's also kind of the assumption that like, you know, dust off your old fantasy armies and you can play again, like, you know, out the box, right? But on the other side of that coin, you have people that are like, well, I never played fantasy. So what do I do? Like, where do I get stuff? How do I support this game? And that's like you're in a really weird place, right? Because the only way you can buy stuff is the rules. And in some cases, like some factions, you can get like all their stuff, like dwarves.
Yeah.
Maybe with a handful of exceptions, you can get like their entire fantasy line still in Age of Sigmar. Like they still sell them.
Yeah, because there are cities.
Right. Whereas other factions, they did away with all that shit. Like if you're a big orcs guy, the only old worlds models you can buy is like Savage Orcs and maybe some goblin kits if they're not the Age of Sigmar goblins. And you're just like, well, where do I get orc boys? Where do I get boar riders? Where do I get my characters and black orcs and all this kind of stuff? Like you just can't get a hold of it. So you're just like, what do I do?
Well, black orcs are the Ard boys, which is convenient. The old Ard boys.
Yeah, or you can buy the new Age of Sigmar models, which some people in the pregame were talking in the chat like, well, what do I do? Like, I want to play Chaos Knights because Chaos Knights are Chaos Knights, even though they're Age of Sigmar. But they're sculpted in such a way where it makes them hard to rank. Well, there's a couple of things. One, you can look at how the new Bretonnian guys look, where some guys are like dead center in the middle of a base, and other guys are kind of like on an edge of their base, just how they're posed and how they're glued to their bases. So that's going to be one part of it. And then again, unit filler. You might have to have like an empty base with some kind of terrain or like a spacer or something like that to give space between the shoulder to shoulder guys, but still have like the correct number of models.
That's good advice, man. Yeah, so the reason, we're bringing it up too is that there's going to be a lot of boomers out there on the internet who don't like base fillers because boomers historically don't like it when they feel that...
Oh, yeah, they're a super understanding group of people.
Yeah, when they feel like they struggled more than you struggled, for some reason it devalues their struggle or like their, fun that they used to have or whatever the reason is. But look, man, get on top of this. This is how it was done. I even think someone in chat mentioned this, and I remember this. GW even released their own pamphlet once on guidelines for base fillers. Back when fantasy was active.
And
they had coverage of fucking games of fantasy being played where you can see in the pictures there was base fillers.
Yeah. It's like a lot of things when it comes to Warhammer of all flavors. It's an effort-based honor system.
Mm-hmm. If you try to put 5 guys down and say I have 40, then you're doing it wrong.
Right. Or if you're trying to fill out like a unit of 40 orcs and you've only got 20 and you just throw a bunch of empty bases in the back, that's frowned upon.
I would say that's an important metric. 50% is the threshold for you're getting a little gamey. So if you're gonna 50%, so you better bring the heat on your base fillers.
Right. Yeah. You gotta put an effort into the hobby aspect of how you do these unit fillers. Right. It can't just be like an empty base or something like that. We were having a big debate about this earlier with the team where like even something as simple as like markers, like if you were to have bases with like markers on them, is that kosher? Is it not kosher? Right. So it's
and
very
20
opinionated both ways.
Jeffrey measured too. Like GW's guidelines was 20%. They said 20% of any unit can be filler. That's what they advocated for. So if you go based on that as your metric, which it does come from the game, it is, we can use that as actual evidence of GW's feelings on it as the game owner. So I agree with that. Like that's a historic GW precedent. So you should be able to do at least 20% of every unit filled with bases and never have to explain yourself to anyone. Like, period. Like you could have like literally just flocked green with rock empties, same flocked with grass with skulls on it as the rest of the unit. Just literally an open grass field, beautifully flocked, and it's 20% of the rows, and you actually don't have to explain yourself, according to the precedent set by GW. Straight up. And if you want to bring more and more hobby heat, you should always remember, like every conversion out there, if the intent is solely to save money, you're probably doing it wrong. Like if your obliterator conversion was so you didn't have to buy the obliterator that costs a lot of money, you're almost always going to have your heart in the wrong place and it's going to show. So if it's literally you can't get these models or you think you have a really cool idea, you can probably go up to 50% and be fine. But don't
like
don't
I said,
fuck
it's
around
like-
with like I'm trying to save money. Here's my 50%. It's always
you get a lot of you get a lot of wiggle room based on how hard you hobby.
Yeah, like that's pretty much how it is. Like there's no current modern rule, right? We're talking about an old thing GW said. There's no modern rule. But if you have like dope stone pillars and all sorts of cool base dynamics, and your motivation was to make it look cool, and I can't get these models because they're sold out in dumpster wars,
or they're just not being sold, like that's going to be a really big thing. Like we're going to come to a head where it's going to be retail day, and we might know beforehand because we still got some time, right? It's going to be close to the end of the month when all this stuff actually releases. So there is some lead up time where GW has the ability to say like, this stuff is coming back. This stuff is not coming back. Like depending on how fast these updates for this game are going to come out, you're going to have a lot of people kind of left in the lurch of, well, how do I support the game? Like, how do I play this game? Because I just can't get.
Give me a second
like,
to rephrase something because Apostate may have misunderstood me. This is he I think he may have misunderstood my take on the money to conversion ratio thing. This is a long-standing thing I've been saying for years in reference to conversions. It's not, if you are converting a model solely to save money, like you are probably doing it wrong because your hobby creativity is not going to come through, right? Like if you're like, damn, I want these obliterators. I don't want to pay for obliterators. Check out my obliterator conversions. 9 times out of 10, that person has trashy looking obliterator conversions, and the truth is
they're like clay or
he didn't want to buy them, right? And he didn't want to spend a crazy amount of money on them. I'm not saying wanting to save money is bad. Like that's fine. It's just that you got to have your mindset correct when you're about to convince somebody across the table from you who did invest money that your conversions aren't trash and an insult to him. So you got to come at it the correct way. Like your obliterator conversion, the heart needs to be, I've got a great idea for an obliterator conversion. Let me make that happen.
Let me
save money and then pretend that I did this to be cool. Like,
let me take glue an extra rocket launcher to a Havoc Marine and just put it on a larger base, and
then try to show off your conversion that's trash. Like, no, it's like literally your heart. I say the same thing with 3D printing came out. We had this conversation 1,000 times. Like, literally, if your intent to buy the 3D printer was literally to save money, it almost always shows on the table and looks like shit. So you have to get your money. You have to get your money.
It's like if people always go for like the shortcut, like the stopgap, the cheat code. A lot of times it's the difference between somebody who's like, my army is battle ready, but they actually took the time to make sure all their models are like what we would consider like a finished paint job. They're just not spending like the extra hours in painting it. And somebody who's like, I'm battle ready, and their shit is like contrast painted hella sloppily just so that it's quote unquote within the bound of the rule.
Or like the 3 dots of paint on it. Oh, it's colors.
There is a gulf of difference between those two examples.
We are not the same.
You've all seen it. You all know exactly
what we're talking about. And that's ultimately what this conversation is about. When we're talking about base filler, the real thing that irritates people is that they feel like you're cutting corners, which like for them is like an insult to the effort they've put forth. And if it's a shared experience, I can understand that. I can get behind that. Right. Like, so you have to understand what the gray areas between I'm fucking creating a dope fucking set of base fillers and using all the pieces I have to actually have a dope experience on the table. And I've fucking, trying to have an OP army and not spend money like that. Like,
so it's like, the difference between so it's just like orcs, for example, because that's what I'm going to be doing. So it's like, there's a difference between making, if a box comes with 20 dudes, let's just say hypothetically, it comes with 20 dudes. There's a big difference between making that 20-man box go to a 30-man unit and making that 20-man box go to like 4 separate 10 or 20-man units, right? Like there's only so much you can stretch it without like losing the hobby, like the effort aspect of it.
Yeah. So 20% was the old precedent. That's the only piece of literature that we currently have from GW. And so that's probably a good entry point to look at these, you know, the scarcity that's about to happen with your old world shit that you're about to try to buy. You're not going to get everything you think you're going to get. Yep. When you start looking at your units and start figuring out base fillers, and now you understand what base fillers are if you're new to the scene, think about 20% as probably your entry point rule, and you'll never have to explain yourself, in my opinion. Like,
now there's a little bit of good news though, because like as we saw with Horus Heresy, they were coming out with huge boxes, like where you get 20 Legionnaires, 20 Space Marines in the box as a troop. And I think that's what, you know, I read off the quote from GW earlier. That's going to be more of what we're seeing. But unfortunately, we're not, those releases, besides the Pegasus Knights, nothing else that are in the boxes are coming out separately at launch. So you get some like kind of special stuff like Tomb Guard, which are 10 models, plastic box for $80. Now that's more equivalent to what we saw with the Jump Pack plastics. They were $70 for 10 dudes. So some of the special stuff is still going to be about the same price, is what it's seeming like. But then you've got stuff like the Necro Sphinx that's $75, which is about the same price it was when it came out for Warhammer Fantasy. So there's going to be a little give and take. There is just really no way by the time it goes live on GW site, or that you have to have the pre-order in with your local game store, and they had to have already had their want numbers in at this point that you're hearing this podcast. There just is no way to be sure that you're going to get everything you need. So you're going to have to kind of get creative, but respectively creative in a lot of cases, I feel like. But the good news is what you can find in a lot of cases, besides the army boxes, which don't seem like they're going to come with full units, but they are still a deal and still a very good value for what's in there. You get almost double in value, plus the Warhammer Old World rulebook in there, which by itself sells for $70. So I think there's still good value to be had. You just have to be a little bit more savvy about it. And I just think Games Workshop maybe could have done a little bit better of a job explaining more and setting people up for success on release day than kind of where we're at right now. Oh, and if you need bases, Elric's Hobbies already has a whole lot of bases, but they're going to have even more, and all the different sizes, the 25s, the 30s. They got base converters right now. They got chariot size bases,
and movement trays.
And movement trays. They got some really dope printers that are cranking these things out. So check them out here in the States. There is another company overseas. If you're in the UK, they look like they did plastic bases that also have the slotted component that you can punch out for pretty affordable. They are, I have this pulled up here. White Dragon Miniatures out of the UK. I think they're also in Nottingham. So they already have all the stuff geared up, ready to go. So whatever you need, it is out there for sure.
Oh yeah, great job, guys. I think we did it. I think we put down a solid New Year's podcast.
Yeah,
bringing it to the old world. So, Wyatt, you want to take us out of here?
Rob?
Same. New year, same outro, I guess. All right. Well, that's it for this one. For exclusive content, early access videos, and more, make sure you head on over to thelongwar.net and become a veteran of the Long War today. And definitely get your Adepticon tickets that will be going on sale this Sunday, the 7th.